So you mentioned how much respect you have for Giannis's game. Which other players do you see with a similar mentality that you really admire and respect?
Joker, John Morant, Steph, Clay, all the top players pretty much get my respect. They play their own style, they play their own way, but the fact when Giannis came out and said, I'm not going to a big city, I'm not teaming up with people, I was like, that's how I used to think.
Shaquille O'Neal just said out loud what a lot of fans have been thinking for a long time. And this time, LeBron James and Kevin Durant found themselves right in the center of the storm. It started with a podcast moment, a smirk, a subtle reaction, and one pointed comment about Michael Jordan. Within hours, the basketball world was divided. Debates exploded. Timelines went crazy. And what followed was something almost nobody saw coming.
Every time you get better as a player, I truly feel that you got to recommit and sign that contract with yourself every so often. Like, all right, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships. Like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight. And, you know what I'm saying? So it's a contract I feel like you got to have with yourself too, in order for you to be a great ball player or to have a long career. That's the goal, to be in the league for 20 years. I tell you, that's the goal. However you want to get there, but you gotta recommit to yourself before you commit to anything.
Before we go any further, here's the real question. Do you believe LeBron and KD truly disrespect Michael Jordan's legacy? Or are they simply trying to reshape the narrative to strengthen their own place in history? Let us know exactly how you see it. Now, let's talk about the sentence that cracked everything wide open. Because sometimes one line hits harder than an entire press conference. So you want me to pay you $30 million to play 30 games? Hell no. That was Shaquille O'Neal, no filter, no PR team polishing the edges. Just raw honesty. This is a man who suited up for 82 games season after season. A player who battled through injuries, showed up for the fans, and treated every night like it mattered. And in that one moment, he voiced what many people have quietly felt but rarely dared to say.
Hold on. You said LeBron James the greatest player ever?
Ever.
What about Michael and Kobe?
Kobe Bryant couldn't fill, or Michael Jordan fill LeBron's shoes. The impact that he's had with different teammates, different organizations.
Would you be mad at me if I just walked off the show?
You can't leave.
Whoever's paying him to say all this stuff, I will pay you double to stop it.
Hold on.
Shaq.
Load management. The polished, analytics-friendly phrase for sitting out games while earning generational money. Shaq didn't soften it. He didn't dive into medical nuance or sports science explanations. He attacked the idea directly because to him, it shouldn't even be normal. Then he did something even more powerful. He brought up names. Jerry West, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. The legends who built the NBA into the global empire it is today. The foundation that today's superstars benefit from. Those players competed through brutal travel schedules, minimal medical support, and salaries that don't even compare to what modern role players earn in a week. They dealt with coach flights, back-to-backs, and injuries that would spark emergency meetings in today's era. And yet, they showed up. No excuses.
As long as you played, you only missed 80 games. First question is how, and the second question is, does it upset you now when you see these superstars doing load management?
Load management. Wow. I could play, 25, 30 years with load management. I sit home and think about that. I made a commitment to stay in shape. Season was over. I took off 2 weeks, go somewhere and...
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
I took off 2 months.
Yeah.
You play basketball 2.5 hours a day. 3 hours max. That's your job. That's what you're paid to do as an NBA player. What are you doing the other 21 hours? Shaq's point wasn't complicated. To him, preparation happens outside the spotlight. Recovery, conditioning, mental focus, that's part of the responsibility. If basketball is your profession, then every hour away from the court should be about getting ready for the next time you step on it. And in that statement, he wasn't just criticizing players. He was challenging an entire era. Work.
Because I can't get up for these meaningless games. I mean, Coach Curtis told me one day, he said he pulled me to the side a few years back. It's when we were competing for a championship. And it was the end of the season, maybe last 7 games. We had already locked up the 1 seed or the 2 seed, whatever we were going to be. And I'm like out there just going through the motions. He pulled me to the side. He said, you have to be the worst meaningless basketball game player I've ever seen in my life. You want to just come out the game? And I'm like, well, coach, I've been playing now. Like, I can't just come out the game. He's like, all right, well, let's figure out a way to get you sitting 3 or 4 of these last 7 games and still.
That quote deserves to sit for a moment, because when you really break it down, it becomes hard to argue against on the surface. When you remove all the modern terminology, recovery science, analytics models, player workload data, load management strategies, you are left with a very simple reality. These athletes are being paid tens of millions of dollars to play basketball. Not to train for basketball. Not to think about basketball. To actually compete in basketball games. And this is happening in the most advanced environment the sport has ever seen. Today's NBA players have access to elite medical teams, advanced recovery technology, personalized nutrition plans, strength coaches, performance analysts, and facilities that previous generations could only imagine. The support system surrounding them is bigger, smarter, and more sophisticated than ever before. Yet the conversation has shifted toward whether star players should be expected to play 82 games in a season. That's where the debate begins. Supporters of load management argue that the modern game is faster, the schedule is demanding, travel is extensive, and protecting long-term health is necessary for career longevity. They believe resting strategically can extend peak performance and reduce injury risk. On the other side, critics argue that availability is part of professionalism. If fans are buying tickets to see specific players, consistency matters. They say competition should be the priority, especially for athletes earning maximum contracts. The pushback to Shaq's comments came quickly. Some current and former players defended rest as part of evolving sports science. Others suggested that earlier generations also dealt with physical wear, but lacked the medical advancements available today. The discussion became less about whether players are working hard and more about what standard defines commitment in today's league. Shaq's position remained straightforward. To him, basketball is the job. If the league pays you to compete, competition should be the default expectation. Preparation, recovery, discipline, and conditioning all happen in the hours away from the spotlight. Those are part of being a professional athlete. From his perspective, the culture of regularly sitting out healthy players feels like a shift away from competitive tradition. But this debate also connects to something bigger, the business side of the sport. NBA contracts have reached unprecedented levels. Supermax deals can approach enormous annual figures, and total career earnings for modern stars are staggering. With that level of compensation comes expectation. Fans invest real money, often significant portions of their entertainment budgets, to attend games or watch from home. When a star player unexpectedly rests, it changes the experience. It creates unpredictability. That unpredictability is part of what fuels frustration among fans who feel the game should guarantee effort and availability when possible. Then the conversation expanded beyond rest and entered legacy territory. During a podcast discussion, LeBron James and Kevin Durant talked about Michael Jordan's career, including historical moments that sparked reactions across the basketball community. Some fans interpreted parts of the conversation as lighthearted. Others felt the tone minimized important chapters in basketball history. Legacy discussions in sports are always emotional because they involve comparison across eras. Every generation views greatness through its own lens. Statistics, style of play, competition level, and context all change over time. LeBron has often emphasized longevity, sustained excellence over decades, as a defining measure of greatness. Durant has spoken about motivation, adaptation, and evolving as a player across different stages of a career. Supporters argue that basketball today is more advanced, more straight. This is where Shaq's viewpoint intersects with the broader debate. He represents an older philosophy: show up, compete, and let performance speak for itself. The NBA itself eventually introduced minimum game requirements for award eligibility, reflecting how the league has adapted its standards in response to modern trends. That policy shift alone shows how significant the availability discussion has become. At its core, this debate isn't just about rest. It's about identity. Is greatness defined by protecting longevity? Or by maximizing competitive presence? Is the modern approach an evolution of smarter performance management? Or does it risk changing the cultural expectation of what it means to be an elite professional athlete? Shaq believes greatness includes commitment, not just talent, not just championships, but showing up consistently when healthy and able. Whether people agree or disagree, the conversation highlights a larger transformation in the sport, one that blends business, performance science, legacy comparisons, fan expectations, and generational perspectives. And that's why this debate continues to grow instead of fade. Because it's not just about one quote. It's about the direction of the game. And that discussion is far from over.